Hello and welcome, my lovely listeners. Today, I wanted to talk to you about something that I am learning as a coach about, and I know I always speak or mainly speak about spirituality and astrology and things that are kind of intuitive and more in a soul, in a cosmos. But I am learning coaching, and part of the coaching is the learning about neuroplasticity and how our brain can change. And I think the main thing about this podcast and the main thing about being a coach is, first of all, showing and providing the person with a way, or giving the person questions or asking the person questions about themselves and showing them examples. For me, it could be esoteric and spiritual or scientific, that they, first of all, they have power. So you have power yourself, inside yourself, and you have potential that can be used, and things can change, and through your own work and through your own understanding and through your own awareness, you can discover that. And both, for me, both the spirituality, which is the kind of soul path, and what's the invisible part of you, the part that connects you with the universe, gives you this power as well. But also, obviously, the part that is in you, the energetic, the brain part, the kind of physical part, and how this works can also change you. So what I am learning about neuroplasticity is, if we have our brain, and our brain is a mass of connection between neurons, and what was believed not long ago was that those connections, how they are formed in the beginning, when we are kids, when we are babies, and then we grow up, they are fixed. So whatever happens in our childhood, and then when we grow up, then when we are adults, that's it, that's hardly wired. Now, obviously and logically, we change, our experiences change. We change through, very often, through hardship and through things that we go through. These things can change. So our brain and those paths, the paths between the neurons, which are actually called synapses, those paths between neurons, if we go in one path all the time, every day, let's say it's a kind of like a path in the meadows. So if you've ever seen paths in the meadows, one person goes through this path, then another person with a dog, the path becomes wider and wider and wider. Obviously, it's the same with our brain. If we do something exactly the same way over and over and over again, this path becomes really wide and really kind of stepped on. Now, if we want to develop a new path and go somewhere we've never gone before, it could be hard in the beginning because there could be branches. And if we are talking about paths and walks, it could be difficult in the beginning. And sometimes it's like we look at this and we say, no, it's not possible. Like, I've never gone this way, and I don't know what's going to happen sort of this way. So if we decide we go this way, and if we keep going, this neuropath, this synapses between our neurons becomes wider and wider again, and the other path kind of grows over. And that's what neuroplasticity is. So our brain can develop and can change. And this is something that I believe is actually very useful to know, because sometimes we are so set up and there's no other option. This is how it always have been. This is how I always have been, and I cannot see in myself that I can be any other way. So for me, if we understand that our brain can change, that the other option is available, this is something very positive, and this is something that can give us hope, and that can sort of push us and show us the other way. And so the first thing is that change is possible, and the brain can strengthen or weaken these neural pathways. And that means that we can unlearn some behavior and that we can learn new behavior. And it's very subtle, and it takes also awareness, and it sometimes takes gratitude journal or some reflective practice for us to actually see that, because it does not happen overnight. No path, if you live somewhere that had some overgrown, or sometimes you know how the pavements are built in, but then people decide that actually this pavement goes around, and they kind of cut through the field, and then the cut through the way that people choose instead of the pavement becomes actually bigger than the pavement. And actually I have this example next to where I live, where there was a pavement, there was a setup path, but people always chosen the other path that kind of ran parallel, but it was more kind of like pleasant in the woods. And what it was decided to do was that actually made this other path into a pavement, so that people don't walk on sand and sort of mud. So it became most used path, but it was chosen by the people. So it's exactly the same as what can happen in your brain. So if you learn new behaviors, and those behaviors, they could be sort of physical. So it could be, I don't know, going to the gym, or maybe making yourself breakfast, or I don't know, anything like that you kind of make that is habitual. You make something happen every morning. Usually things like going to the gym, some activities like physical activities, eating, or different breakfast, or getting up earlier, or maybe painting. For me, I wanted this to be recording this podcast, so talking out to you, but also I believe these are things, the way we think about something, the way we think about ourselves, to catch ourselves on like thinking negative thoughts about ourselves, thinking thoughts that are criticizing ourselves and kind of or others, and take this off this path and try to think another way. And also how you see and view situations, how you see and view other people, and how you see and view feedback, or how you see and how you behave in certain situations, and sometimes take a step back, maybe not text this person, and maybe not give your whole worth to this person, and taking yourself out of the realm of thinking this person doesn't pay attention to me, they are not choosing me, therefore that means that I am not worthy. Kind of going out of this pattern and giving this another meaning, that this is all on this person, there's nothing to do with you. You are still worthy, you are still beautiful, you are still you, and nothing to do with this person. And thinking this way, that you are worthy someone who chooses you, you are worthy someone who pays attention to you, who sees you, who loves you, and you giving attention to the person who does not choose you means that you are looking for something that maybe you didn't receive in a childhood. I think for an understanding that, and for me, building this new understanding and this new neural pathway is the same sort of habitual thing that as going running. And And I use everything else around it for me to build this new neural pathway of I am worthy and I am lovable and I am enough. Because for a long time, the neural pathways that was running was that I am not truly worthy, I am not truly enough, I always have to do more to be enough, and I want this neural pathway to be really, really thin or disappear. Maybe it's never going to disappear, but I want the new neural pathway to run that I am worthy, that I am enough, and this and that situation is showing me. And if I cannot think about this situation, I can think about the fact that I was born, that you were born, that you exist on this earth, that you are the spiritual being who got to exist here, and that what gives you 99.99% of worth. But you have to understand it yourself. There is no one else on the whole earth that can tell you this. I can show you the examples, I can tell you, but it's your belief and your neural pathways to think that. So for me, this is how the spirituality and the science is connected. Another thing that is about creating this neural pathways is focus and repetitions. So your thoughts and your behaviors, like I said, on a regular basis, you repeat them. That's what's going to create the new thinking, the new behavior. And again, going into sort of spirituality is about meditation for me. Meditation, going back to yourself, is almost like resetting, and also paying attention, and also almost like reflection, although the meditation shouldn't be, it's not a reflection because it's seizing the thinking, but you are in it. The thinking is still happening around you, so kind of seeing it and noticing this. You are in the middle of like in the eye of a storm where all the thoughts are running around you and you are just sitting in there. And also understanding that this takes time. So this is not something that's going to happen straight away. And I think that's really good to understand. And it can take, I don't know, half of your life. It can take a couple of years. Can take a couple of months. But every step, every little thing that you change, every little thought that you kind of turn around and try and think different way, even the awareness, even you seeing those thoughts, this is still a progress, and this is still building something else. It's like your brain is obviously working 24/7, right? Another thing that is worth noticing is that the changes, they take effort. So the existing neural pathways, your thoughts, behaviors, and habits, they take time to weaken, and the new neural pathways can take time to develop. So what we do need is the repetitiveness and positive reinforcement always. So for those to make them stick. And what's the positive reinforcement? I think that is telling yourself how well you've done, showing yourself what changes have been made, and not criticizing yourself for, I don't know, going back to old habits, but just trying again, right? Just trying again and just being yourself, being positive to yourself, and also paying attention on the feedback that people give you, how you see things, and also doing nice things to yourself whenever you see a positive change, but also being easy on yourself. And if you're having days or moments when you kind of feel that you are a little bit more weak, and looking for tools around. So is it podcasts, the people who are speaking about their own experiences, and mentors, coaches around, just looking for things that can help you with this outside of yourself as much as inside of yourself. So things like self-compassion and acceptance that this change takes times. Very important thing, and yes, very important thing that I have mentioned many times is good sleep and meditation, mindfulness, relaxation. They all help to wire your brain differently. So when you are feeling down, relaxation and good sleep and mindfulness, it's just such a banal thing to say, but whatever it means for you, it could be a walk, it could be breathing, it could be something that's on YouTube that you can find that kind of guides you, like a guided meditation, anything like that. And even if you are like thinking, oh, it's not gonna help, it's just, I don't think anyone like this is listening to my podcast, but if someone like this is listening and thinking this way, I've never done it, it doesn't really work for me, find something that works for you. And for many people, and I know people that kind of go into this meditative state doing some sort of physical exercising, for example running, and this is definitely also something that kind of brings the meditative state, so kind of the state of not thinking, which I know it's not the case because we're always thinking, but the way that thoughts kind of come in the line and you kind of standing beside the thoughts and are not really, you are not the thoughts. But also after running, after physical exercise, what happens? The dopamine, so the kind of hormone of pleasure and excitement spikes, but then you need relaxation, right? So you need to I don't know, lay down, stretch, be really mindful about your body, get a massage, get some soft laying down and just some soft music, or with no music, just time with yourself and a little bit of stillness. And I know it's might be hard for some people, and then there is sleep coming, but that's fine. If the sleep comes, that's fine as well. The last thing that is the last thing that I want to say about the neuroplasticity is that we can maintain focus when we learn and when we do something for a specific period of time again. So when we are doing something, when we are learning new things, when we are focusing on something specific, again, going back to this relaxation, it's important to take breaks, and breaks can take a different form. And I know with my own example and with my own awareness that I tend to go on the phone, for example, when there is a break, and I know that this kind of pathway has formed and is quite strong, and I am not necessarily very happy about this, and I have to find balance between getting information and getting this dopamine from the phone, from the reels, from YouTube or whatever, so a short kind of burst of information and a burst for encouragement from internet, from reels, from coaches, to sitting with myself and being content with whatever I am doing and not trying to find the dopamine in the phone. I think that's for another podcast. But yeah, the little breaks, drink water, and another kind of banal and obvious thing, but really important, as well as like feeding and watering the plant, which is your brain. So definitely drink water and just look out from the window, play with your cat, I don't know, do some organizing in the house, or whatever the break is for you. So one question I want to leave it with is sort of some reflecting, a reflecting question is that think about what is possible rather than what's not possible. And even when I say what's not possible, straight away the mind comes into, oh, there's so many things that are not possible, much more than things that are possible. But even if you're listening to affirmation or to to people that talk about manifestation, very often I hear about, think about the thing that you want most, the thing that is the most impossible ever. And that's where you kind of anchor your wants, your affirmation, your manifestation. Because I would think as well, why would I think about just a little thing, like just the smallest thing, if I can think of a bigger thing? So let's say I am manifesting my partner. I want to paint a picture and write everything on the list about this partner that is amazing. Not only the thing that he's got a job and he is tall, right, or he's whatever, athletic. Like, I want everything. I want the whole list. I want all the adjective describing him. I want to have a specific, a very detailed manifestation. Is that impossible? I don't know, but that's what I want. If 90% of the list is fulfilled, if 80% of the list is fulfilled, that's still bigger if I have the really low expectation of just 3 things that I want this partner, all my life, or my job, or my friends, or my prosperity and my abundance to be. So think about what's possible, and what's possible, there is no limit. Obviously, you have to take small steps, but the faith that everything is possible, I believe, needs to be there, because you are the universe, because you are part of everything, and therefore you already have got that. And that's the main thinking. Another thing, how can you be aware? What is your awareness? What's your awareness about yourself? And how can you be aware when you are ruminating about going in circles about the situation, about the I don't know, some thought that's in your mind going over and over and over and over again, and we do that very often, and kind of being aware and observe that, and say, this is what I'm doing at the moment. And again, sometimes it's just acceptance, it's just looking at it, and kind of, sometimes there are different tools. Sometimes it's giving yourself some time to do that, and then trying gentle to take your mind off it by doing something else, doing your hobby, doing something that you can lose your mind in a positive, beneficial way. And yes, exactly, those activities that would help you take your mind off it. For me, for the last couple of days or weeks, because I was ruminating about someone, I've noticed that kind of playing some sort of engaging music that I liked, music that brought some memories, and sometimes dancing was taking my mind off it. Also, always what works for me is walks. You know that I love walking, and walks in nature, especially, just feeling the wind on my face and looking at the green trees and everything that's happening in nature is always so busy. Doesn't matter of the period, if it's spring, summer, doesn't matter of when it is, in the evening or in the morning or in midday, there's always something happening, and nature kind of live its own or her own life. And then I kind of see how my problems are, or my issues are, kind of smaller with that, because this is the life, and and my things that are going on in my life, which I sometimes just exaggerate, that I think are so big, facing with the big nature and the life going there, and the growing, the changing, the fight sometimes for survival almost, but also the beauty. For me, somehow it gives me perspective of a positive perspective of I am a part of this, and this is gonna go like a churn, like a wheel of fortune in tarot card is going to turn around and change, and is never going to stay the same. So this is something that that really helps me, that I am not going to be in this state, whatever state I am in, and it's usually negative state. I don't want to stay in negative state. So the nature and the turning is showing me that nothing lasts like this, nothing lasts forever. And so this is I am leaving you in with today, that if you are in this state, if you happen to be in this state, it turns around, it goes away. It might come back, but it does definitely go away. And this is the acceptance is the key. Thanks so much for listening. Give it a like. Hopefully it will allow someone else to listen to it and maybe hopefully help as well. And I speak to you soon. Bye bye.